Hello, and a very warm welcome back, everyone, to the Mr. English Podcast channel. I'm Anna, and as always, my heart is buzzing with excitement to be here with you all today.
Hi, Anna, and hello to our incredible community of listeners. I'm David, and I am absolutely primed for what promises to be another enlightening and enjoyable English learning adventure.
It certainly will be, David. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a truly transformative technique, a secret weapon that can seriously accelerate your English speaking abilities. It's known as shadowing.
Shadowing. That has a mysterious ring to it. It sounds like something a detective would do. Anna, could you demystify it for our listeners?
Of course, David. In essence, shadowing is the practice of listening to a piece of English audio and speaking it aloud simultaneously, aiming to mirror the original speaker as precisely as possible. Imagine your voice becoming the literal echo of the audio you hear.
I'm getting the picture. So we listen, and then, in real time, we attempt to replicate the exact words, the tempo, and even the musicality of the speech.
You've got it perfectly. It's like being a vocal chameleon, but with a clear objective. This goes far beyond simple mimicry. It's about deeply internalizing the rhythm, the precise articulation of sounds, and the natural ebb and flow of authentic English.
That makes so much sense. It strikes me as a profoundly active and engaging method of learning. Before we delve into the nitty-gritty, Anna, perhaps we should do our little housekeeping reminder.
You read my mind, David. Before we unlock this powerful technique, if you're enjoying our conversations and finding value in our podcast, please take a brief moment to click that subscribe button. It's a small action that massively helps us connect with more learners just like you.
And don't hesitate to give this episode a thumbs up or a like if you find it helpful. Your encouragement is the fuel that keeps our podcast engine running. We genuinely appreciate it.
We really do. And if any questions or thoughts about shadowing pop into your head, please share them in the comments below. We absolutely love engaging with your feedback and ideas.
All right, Anna, let's get back to the main event. Why is this shadowing technique such a game changer for English learners?
Well, David, shadowing operates on multiple fronts, which is what makes it so potent. Firstly, it's a powerhouse for pronunciation. I remember struggling endlessly with the v sound. It just felt so unnatural. I spent a week just shadowing a speaker who pronounced it beautifully, and it was like a switch flipped in my brain. By forcing yourself to match the speaker's sounds, you develop a kinesthetic awareness of how English is spoken, which often defies its written form.
That's incredibly true, Anna. The spelling of English words can feel like a minefield sometimes. Though, through, tough. It's a mess.
Exactly! Shadowing lets you leapfrog over that confusion and focus directly on the auditory reality. Secondly, it drastically enhances your listening comprehension. You have to listen with such intensity to be able to repeat accurately. It's a dual workout for your ears and your mouth.
A workout for your ears and mouth. I love that analogy. It's so fitting.
Precisely. And thirdly, shadowing attunes you to the natural melody and intonation of English. Native speakers don't communicate in a flat, robotic monotone. We use pitch and stress to color our words with meaning and emotion. Shadowing helps you absorb these subtle musical patterns. I once had a hilarious misunderstanding in Spain. I asked for directions with a falling intonation, and the person thought I was making a statement and just nodded and walked away. Intonation is everything.
That's a brilliant point, Anna. That musicality is something you can't fully grasp from a textbook. It has to be felt.
Absolutely. And finally, shadowing is a direct path to improved fluency. By practicing speaking in tandem with a native speaker, you're literally building new neural pathways, making the connection between your brain and your mouth faster and more seamless.
Wow, it's clear that shadowing packs a serious punch. So, how can our listeners begin to implement this technique? What's the first step on this journey?
The first step is to curate your audio material. It's crucial to start with content that is at your current level, or just a tiny step above. If it's too advanced, you'll just end up feeling frustrated.
What kind of audio would you recommend for someone just starting out, Anna?
There are so many great options. Short podcasts created for English learners are ideal because the hosts usually enunciate clearly and speak at a manageable pace. You could also use clips from TV shows or films, provided the dialogue is clear. Even audiobooks are a fantastic resource, especially if you can get the text to follow along.
Having the transcript seems like a huge advantage, particularly for beginners. It's like having a safety net.
It is. When you have the transcript, you can read along as you listen and shadow. This creates a powerful link between the sounds you hear and the words on the page, helping you decipher any tricky parts.
Okay, so step 1, find suitable audio, ideally with a transcript. What's step 2?
Step 2 is the reconnaissance mission. Listen to a small segment of the audio first, without shadowing. Just listen to absorb the general meaning and get a feel for the speaker's rhythm.
So get the lay of the land before you jump in? That makes perfect sense.
Exactly. Then comes step 3. The echo begins. Play that same short segment again, a sentence or two at a time, and try to repeat precisely what you hear as you hear it. Don't aim for perfection right away. The goal is to match the rhythm and the sounds as closely as you can.
So we're aiming to be that perfect shadow, trailing just behind the original voice.
Yes, that's the perfect mindset. And step 4 is the power of the loop. Revisit that same short audio clip and shadow it repeatedly. With each repetition, you'll start to notice finer details in the pronunciation and melody that you missed before.
Repetition is the mother of skill, as they say. It's a universal principle in learning.
It truly is. Then, step 5 is to gradually expand your vocal stamina. Once you're comfortable shadowing short sentences, challenge yourself with longer phrases and, eventually, entire paragraphs.
That sounds like a solid progression for building both skill and confidence.
It is, and step 6 is the moment of truth. Record yourself shadowing and then compare it to the original audio. This can be a bit confronting, I admit. The first time I recorded myself, I was shocked. I thought I sounded so fluent in my head, but the recording told a different story. It was the most valuable feedback I could have received.
Oh, that's a courageous step. Listening to your own voice can be a strange experience.
It can be, but it's also incredibly illuminating. It allows you to pinpoint the exact areas that need work. And remember, these recordings are your private learning tool. No one else ever has to hear them.
That's a reassuring thought. It's a personal feedback loop for your speaking skills.
Exactly. And the final, most crucial step, step 7, is to embrace the marathon mindset. Be patient and persistent. Shadowing is a skill that takes practice. You won't sound like a native speaker overnight, but with consistent effort, you will see undeniable improvements in your pronunciation, listening, and overall fluency.
So, to recap, find your audio, do a reconnaissance listen, shadow in short bursts, repeat obsessively, increase the duration, record yourself for feedback, and be patient. That's a fantastic framework, Anna. Now, I have a few tips I've picked up that can really maximize a shadowing session. My first one is to become a vocal detective. Really focus on the physical mechanics of the sounds. Pay attention to the speaker's lip movements, tongue position, and jaw. Even if you can't see them, try to imagine and imitate those physical actions.
That's a wonderful tip, David. It's about cultivating a physical intelligence for the language.
Precisely. Another tip is to prioritize flow over facts when you're starting. Don't get bogged down by not understanding every single word. The primary focus initially is on the sounds and the rhythm. You can always circle back to look up vocabulary later.
That's so important, David. Getting stuck on one word can completely derail your practice. It's better to maintain momentum and investigate later.
My third tip is to diversify your audio diet. Experiment with different formats: podcasts, news broadcasts, interviews, stand-up comedy, even song lyrics. Each genre will expose you to unique vocabulary, cadences, and speaking styles.
That's a fantastic suggestion, David. Variety keeps things fresh and engaging.
Absolutely. And my final tip is to establish a 15-minute fluency ritual. Make shadowing a non-negotiable habit. Short, consistent sessions are far more effective than sporadic, long ones. I have a quirky habit of shadowing the morning news while I make my coffee. It wakes up my brain and my English-speaking muscles at the same time.
Consistency is the secret sauce in language learning. Just 10 to 15 minutes of dedicated shadowing a few times a week will compound into significant progress over time. That leads to a great question, David. What are some common mistakes or traps that learners might fall into when they start shadowing, and how can they sidestep them?
An excellent question. A very common mistake is attempting to climb Mount Everest on day one, trying to shadow material that is far too difficult. As we've said, it's best to start at your level. If you're constantly lost and struggling to keep up, it will only lead to discouragement.
Definitely. It's far better to build a foundation of success and confidence with more manageable material first.
Another pitfall is missing the forest for the trees, focusing too much on individual words instead of the overall musicality and flow. Remember, it's not just about saying the correct words, it's about delivering them in a way that sounds natural and authentic.
So the goal is to mimic the melody of the speech, not just hit the individual notes. I like that.
Exactly. And a third mistake is the zombie echo, being too passive. Shadowing isn't just absent-minded repetition. It demands active engagement. You have to consciously strive to match the speaker's pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation. It requires your full focus.
It's a mental and oral gymnastics routine.
It is. And finally, some learners fall into the instant gratification trap. They get disheartened when they don't sound like a native speaker immediately. It's vital to remember that improvement is a gradual process. You have to trust the process.
That is such a critical message, David. Be kind to yourself, acknowledge your effort, and celebrate every small victory along the way.
Absolutely, Anna. The goal of shadowing is progress, not perfection. It's about improving your own unique voice in English, not becoming a carbon copy of someone else. So, Anna, could you give our listeners a quick live example? Perhaps you can say a short, interesting sentence, and I'll try to shadow you.
I'd be happy to, David. Let's try this one. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams.
Okay, here I go. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams.
That was excellent, David. You really captured the rising intonation on dreams. You see, listeners, it's all about making that active effort to follow along.
Thanks, Anna. It really does make you feel more connected to the language when you're actively trying to reproduce it.
It really does. It helps forge that crucial muscle memory for speaking English fluently.
So, Anna, for our listeners who are ready to dive in, what kind of resources would you point them towards?
For beginners, I would call their starting point the nursery slopes. I'd strongly recommend podcasts specifically created for English learners. These often feature crystal clear pronunciation and a slightly reduced pace. Children's audiobooks are also a hidden gem for this stage.
That's a great starting point. What about for our intermediate learners? What's their adventure trail?
Intermediate learners can start exploring more challenging terrain. Things like short news segments, TED Ed videos, or interviews with articulate speakers are perfect. They could also try shadowing scenes from TV shows or movies with relatively straightforward dialogue.
And for our advanced learners, what does the Black Diamond Run of shadowing look like?
Advanced learners can truly test their skills with complex audio. This could be academic lectures, fast-paced political debates, or even the nuanced, rapid-fire dialogue in sophisticated films or series. At this level, the focus shifts to mastering the subtle nuances of pronunciation, emotional intonation, and even understanding slang and idiomatic language in context.
That sounds like a serious challenge for the ears and the mouth.
It is, but it's also an incredibly rewarding way to polish your English speaking skills to a high shine and sound truly natural.
So, Anna, as we wrap up, what is the single most important idea you want our listeners to take away about the shadowing technique?
The key takeaway is that shadowing is not about imitation. It's about integration. It's an active, powerful method for integrating natural pronunciation, rhythm, and fluency into your own speech. It demands practice and patience, but the rewards are immense. So please, don't be afraid to try it and make some echoes.
That's a perfect summary, Anna. Thank you for sharing all this incredible insight on shadowing with us today. I'm definitely inspired to be more consistent with it in my own language learning.
You are most welcome, David. And to all our listeners, we genuinely encourage you to give the shadowing technique a try. Remember, to start with material that feels right for you, be patient with your progress, and practice with consistency. You will be astonished at the progress you can make.
And that brings us to the close of another episode of the Mr. English Podcast channel. Anna, it is always a genuine pleasure.
The pleasure is all mine, David, and a huge thank you to all of our wonderful listeners for joining us. We truly hope you found this episode valuable.
Before we sign off, Anna, one last reminder.
Absolutely, David. If you enjoyed this episode and found it useful, please don't forget to subscribe to the Mr. English Podcast channel so you never miss our future lessons. And please share this episode with friends or family who are also on their English learning journey.
Yes, please do. And we would be thrilled to hear from you. Leave us a comment below and tell us if you've tried shadowing or if you have any questions about it. We always look forward to your feedback.
Thanks again for listening, everyone. Keep practicing, keep growing, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Bye for now, and happy shadowing.
Goodbye, everyone.